Good evening wherever you're joining us from. My name is Patricia Roxanne Hammond, coming to you live from our studios at Kwabinya Point 1. This is NEWSBOARD. Let's take a look at the headlines in Ghana and around the world. Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration says a total of 210 Ghanaians evacuated from Ukraine so far. President Akufo-Addo says Parliament is not beyond scrutiny of Supreme Court. President Akufo-Addo has also assured that Ghana will follow the footsteps of Dubai in its development agenda. And satellite images taken by a U.S. firm shows a large Russian military convoy near Ukraine's capital, Kiev. You can also watch us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at NewTVGH. And now to the details. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has disclosed that 210 Ghanaian nationals have been evacuated from Ukraine. This was after the ministry on Wednesday received the 12th batch of 17 Ghanaian nationals at the Kotoka International Airport in Accra.
The Director of Information and Public Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration welcomed the students on behalf of the government and assured that measures had been instituted to safeguard their mental health. She also added that efforts are being made to ensure the continuation of the education of those that are students. Dr. Kweku Brobe Asenso, a psychiatrist, also informed the students about the arrangements made to help ease the psychological trauma they suffered from the war in Ukraine.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has said he expected the Supreme Court to affirm the rights of deputy speakers of parliament to vote in parliament even when they are presiding as speaker. In an address on Facebook, President Akufo-Addo said it was an open and shut case. The president also noted that in some other jurisdictions, speakers who are members of the legislature are allowed to vote.
The noise that was generated on this, at the time I was extremely surprised because as far as I can see it, and I think that the Supreme Court has confirmed it, the matters involved in this thing are open and shut. They're black and white. There can be no dispute about the issues that the gentleman took to the Supreme Court. It is there for anybody who wants to see. In Articles 102, Articles 104 of the Constitution makes it absolutely clear in black and white that the deputy speakers, I'm not speaking of the speaker, I mean the deputy speakers, when they're presiding, have the right to participate in the vote of the parliament. The whole structure of the Constitution, and indeed, and I believe that would have been part of the reasoning of the court, all the legislatures of the world where the presiding person is a member of the legislature, like our deputy speakers are, like the Speaker of the House of Representatives in the United States, or the President pro tem of the Senate in the United States, or the Speaker of the British Parliament. All of those have the right to speak because they are members of the Assembly. Our Speaker is expressly not a member of the Assembly. That's why he doesn't have the right to vote. In fact, he really ought not even to participate in the deliberations of the House. He's a referee, making sure that the debate is conducted properly and that the rules of procedure, the orders of the House are complied with. That's his role. But he ought, strictly speaking, not to be part of the proceedings of the House. That is not the case with the deputy speakers. And that matter is transparent on the face of our Constitution. Indeed, even the presiding members of our district assemblies, they have the right to vote. Look at the district assembly law, because they are members of the assembly. And once you are a member of the assembly, you're representing certain constituencies. If you are denied the right to vote, it will mean it is tantamount to denying the right of the people you represent to have a say in the decision of the assembly.
Moving on, the president also says the decision of the Supreme Court on the voting rights of deputy speakers cannot amount to judicial interference in the work of Parliament. According to him, the suggestion that Parliament is beyond the scrutiny of the Supreme Court is to suggest that Parliament is a law unto itself.
But now that the Supreme Court has pronounced, I think what is required is for the nation, all of us, to put that matter behind us and to do our work. To suggest that somehow or other the Parliament is beyond the scrutiny of the Supreme Court when issues of interpretation is to suggest that Parliament is a law in itself. The whole principle of judicial review was developed by the judges, both in America and in England, to be able to check the activities of Parliament. Indeed, in our own country, the first major constitutional case which looked at the work of Parliament was in the case Tufo and the Attorney General, where the act of Parliament, the decision of the Parliament to subject the then Chief Justice, the late Frederick Kwesi Apalu, to a vetting process in Parliament, had been expressly forbidden by the Constitution. And that is the reason why Dr. Maku Tufo, the late Dr. Maku Tufo, unfortunately late, took the matter to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court made it quite clear that all the activities of all the institutions of our republic that impugn, that violate the Constitution, are subject to the powers of the court and to the declarations of the court. Me, I want to repeat it, President, head of the executive, I am subject to the Constitution and to law. I cannot set myself above it.
Most parts of the country are likely to record low rainfall for the March, April, May rainy seasons this year, according to the Ghana Meteorological Agency. A late start of the rain with significant probabilities of slightly longer dry spells was expected within the season.
Generally, the GMET forecasted normal rainfall for March, April, and May, and April, May, June over most places in the southern part of the country. However, the agency said some areas in the southeastern parts would experience below normal rainfall for both March, April, and April, May, June seasons. Sharing the rainfall pattern for this year in Accra last Wednesday, the Deputy Director and Head of Research and Applied Meteorology at the agency, Francisca Marte, said early to normal onset days were expected over the eastern part of the country's coastal region and the forest zone. She said the transition northern and upper regions were expected to have normal onset. The total cumulative rainfall amount for March, April, and May, both in time and space, according to her, will be near normal to above normal for the East Coast and parts of the coastal savanna areas of the country. However, Mrs. Marte said the West Coast, Forest Zone, and Transition Zone would all experience normal rainfall. The East Coast, West Coast, and the extreme fringes of the upper regions of the country, she said, were expected to have near normal to above normal rainfall for the April, May, June season. At the beginning of the season, Mrs. Marte said, an early dry spell was expected between 8 to 12 days for most places in the southern part of the country.
A bail application filed by Oliver Baker-Vomawo, convener of the #FixTheCountry movement, who has been charged with treason felony, could not be heard at the Tema High Court on Thursday. This is because Baker-Vomawo's legal team needed more time to respond to an affidavit filed by the Attorney General opposing the bail application.
The Tema High Court therefore adjourned the hearing to Monday, March 14, 2022. This was after a senior state attorney, Ms. Hilda Craig, served them the affidavits during the court proceedings and prayed the court for a longer adjournment to enable them study whatever response Baker-Vomawo may be filing in response to the affidavits. Baker-Vomawo has been remanded in police custody by the Ashama District Court. He was arrested on February 11, 2022, and charged with treason felony in connection with the Facebook post he allegedly made suggesting that he would organize a coup if the electronic transaction e-levy was passed by Parliament.
And on to some business stories, the Ministry of Trade and Industry says it will set up a committee to spearhead the drafting of policies to regulate the country's cement industry. According to the ministry, the meeting has become necessary to ensure regulation of the activities and help develop a better cement production industry.
A deputy trade and industry minister briefed the media on government's plans in Kofodia. He said that, quote, government is also working with the cement manufacturers in the area of regulation of cement and even the development of the cement businesses in Ghana. The cement business is not regulated. The Chamber of Cement Manufacturers Ghana protested against the reduction in benchmark value from 50% to 30% by the government, saying it will result in high production cost and affect cement prices. According to the chamber, the local cement industry is already suffering from high production costs as a result of the increase in the cost of limestone, clinker, duties, transport fuel increase, spring up of new cement factories, and instability of the city against the major currencies with the dollar.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has assured that Ghana will follow the footsteps of Dubai in its development agenda. The president, who was enthused at the rate of development in the United Arab Emirates capital, expressed the hope of Ghana achieving a similar feat. This follows his trip to Dubai for the ongoing Expo 2020.
The government appears aggressive in its quest to attract foreign direct investment through the ongoing Expo in Dubai. Already, it has signed an agreement with the United Arab Emirates authorities to streamline the economic relationship between the two countries. About 64 UAE firms are said to be operating in Ghana, but it is the hope of the president to increase the number. Quote, already the engagement have started, but we want stronger and stronger relations, starting with 16 companies as a good beginning for this link, and we are very determined, the president said. The United Arab Emirates authorities have pledged their support towards this drive.
A section of the business community has asked the government to, with immediate effect, peg the cedi at a fixed exchange rate against the dollar. This, they say, has become necessary following recent depreciation of the cedi against the dollar.
Prices of goods and services have in the past weeks witnessed significant increases due to the situation, with business associations warning of further increases in the prices of goods in the coming weeks. Currently, the dollar is selling at 7 Ghana cedis 13 pesos on the foreign exchange market and 7 Ghana cedis 70 pesos across some forex bureaus. General Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana said prices of goods and services affected by the dollar will continue to shoot up if government fails to put the necessary measures in place. Quote, it is likely that we are going to see further increase in the prices of goods and services. When you change $1 to 7 cedis 40 pesos, we need to shore up. We are calling on government to peg the cedi at 8 cedis for the rest of the year. Then this can give relief to the business community and we can plan. Other than that, it's going to be difficult. If you go to other countries, pegging is done. I'm sure that government can also do so. Then both businessmen and consumers can plan. Because with what is happening now, you will see quarrels between consumers and sellers, and that is not good for the government.
Moving on, the Ghana cedis has witnessed one of its worst performances in many years, having lost more than 7% of its value since the beginning of this year alone. With fears of its worsening in the coming weeks, the development is badly affecting importers through favoring exporters on the flip side of the equation.
Ghana being a net importer of many goods consumed, including raw materials, for industries in the country, the players in that space have sounded an alarm as to the impact on their businesses. Consequently, the Ghana Union of Traders Association has appealed to the government to help address the challenges causing the cedi to depreciate in value against the major foreign currencies at a quicker pace. The association said the quickened depreciation this year had forced the capital of members to erode by 16%, a development which has led to increased cost of production. In a release issued in Accra, the GUTA president, Dr. Joseph Obeng, said the rapid depreciation of the local currency against the major trading currencies, especially the United States dollars, gave cause for alarm. Quote, it is taking a heavy toll on our capital and wreaking havoc on businesses in the country and also increasing financial burden on the consuming public.
The Bank of Ghana has brought its Monetary Policy Committee meeting forward by a week to Wednesday, March 16, 2022 to Friday, March 18, 2022. This is due to the threat of the rising inflation and exchange rate depreciation on the Ghanaian economy.
Prices of some goods have skyrocketed due to soaring fuel prices, pushing transport and imported inflation up as a result of the city's depreciation. It is expected that the MPC of the Bank of Ghana will increase the policy rate, the rate at which it lends to commercial banks, by about 100 basis points to be able to control inflation and reduce the rapid fall in the value of the city. An increase in the policy rate will mean cost of credit or loans will go up, but investors will be enticed to invest in financial instruments such as the treasury bills that buy dollars for future gain. During the last meeting, the MPC kept the policy rate at 14.5% after going up by 1% in November 2021, the first time in 6 years.
We'll be right back with more news after this break. Welcome back. And on some international news, a Kenyan court has ordered the UK and Kenyan government to resolve a dispute in which British soldiers are accused of starting a wildfire during a training exercise that damaged a wildlife conservancy.
The fire in March 2021 destroyed about 12,000 acres of land at the privately owned Lodiega Conservancy in central Kenya. It prompted an environmental lawsuit brought by a lobby group and almost 1,000 local residents who accused the UK Army of violating their right to a clean and healthy environment. On Thursday, the court said it had adjourned on the case after the British Army claimed sovereignty. But Justice Antonina Kosebor directed that the matter be handled by an intergovernmental liaison committee according to the terms of a defense cooperation agreement signed by the two countries in 2015. The committee must investigate the claims against the British soldiers and oversee resolution of the dispute, the judge said. She added that the UK government will pay compensation to residents if British troops are found liable for the claims against them. The British and Kenyan authorities will also be obliged to restore the damaged environment if the soldiers are found to have been negligent.
Satellite images taken by a U.S. firm of a large Russian military convoy near Ukraine's capital Kiev show it has largely dispersed and redeployed. The convoy was last seen near Antovio Airport, northwest of Kiev, and its movements could signal a renewed push towards the city.
The firm that took the photos, Maxar Technologies, said parts of the convoy were in positions in surrounding towns. Other parts are further north with artillery now in firing positions. The apparent redeployment came as Russian forces in Ukraine began attacking new targets in different areas of the country. Ukrainian big cities are again subjected to devastating blows, said Ukrainian presidential advisor. He added that the shelling in Luch has shut down 2 central heating compounds. Russia's destructive war against civilians in major cities continue, he said. Russian state media reported that the Ukrainian city of Volnovakha had been captured by Russian-backed separatist forces. There is no independent confirmation of the capture of the city, which is a northern gateway to the besieged port city of Mariupol.
More than 18 million people, 3 times higher than official records suggest, have probably died because of COVID, says researchers. The report comes 2 years to the day from when the World Health Organization first declared the pandemic.
The COVID-19 excess mortality team at the U.S.'s Washington University studied 191 countries and territories for what they call the true global death figure. Some deaths were from the virus, while others were linked to the infection. This is because catching COVID might worsen other pre-existing medical conditions, such as heart or lung disease, for example. The measures used is called excess deaths, how many more people have been dying than what would be expected compared to recent years before the pandemic hit. Rates of excess deaths are estimated to have varied dramatically by countries and region, but the overall global rate calculated in the study is 120 deaths per 100,000 people. That would mean about 18.2 million deaths have happened because of COVID in the 2 years between the start of 2020 and the end of 2021, 3 times as many as the official 5.9 million that have actually been recorded.
And on to some sports stories. Former heavyweight champion boxer Vitaly Klitschko said that he is prepared to fight for Ukraine after Russia began military operations in the country. Klitschko, who is the mayor of capital city Kiev, said Ukrainians have gathered weapons and were soldiers ready to defend their city.
When Klitschko was asked if he would join forces with the Ukrainians to fight the Russians, he said it was an obligation for himself. In what he describes already as a blood war, he believes in the people in his country can fend off the invasion. Russian president decided to invade Ukraine, beginning the invasion early Thursday morning. Earlier in the day, Vitaly's brother and retired Ukrainian boxer, Vladimir, posted a lengthy statement from Kyiv condemning Putin's actions.
Andy Murray has pledged to donate his prize money earnings for the rest of the year to help children affected by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The British former world #1 is working with UNICEF to provide medical supplies and development kits.
Russia's attack on Ukraine has so far seen more than 2 million people flee the country. Over 7.5 million children are at risk with the escalating conflict in Ukraine, said Murray, aged 34. The three-time Grand Slammer winner, who is an ambassador for UNICEF UK, added, quote, "It's vital education continues, so UNICEF is working to enable access to learning for displaced children, as well as supporting the rehabilitation of damaged schools, together with replacement of equipment and furniture."
And on to entertainment, U.S. actor Jussie Smollett has been sentenced to 150 days in jail after a jury found he lied to police about being the victim of a hate crime. The former Empire star was found guilty in December of 5 charges of felony disorderly conduct after making false reports about the hoax attack.
The sentence also includes 30 months of probation and $145,000 in restitution and fines. Following the sentence, Smollett said, quote, "I did not do this." The trial stemmed from an incident 3 years ago when Smollett said he was attacked by 2 assailants. The actor, who is black and gay, said the attackers shouted slurs at him and a Trump slogan, dumped a chemical substance on him, and tied a noose around his neck while he was walking late at night in January 2019. Authorities opened an investigation, but in February of that year, police charged Smollett with filing a false police report, alleging he had staged the assault.
And that's it for NEWSBOARD. Let's take a look again at our headlines. Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration says a total of 210 Ghanaians evacuated from Ukraine so far. President Akufo-Addo says Parliament is not beyond scrutiny of Supreme Court. President Akufo-Addo has also assured that Ghana will follow the footsteps of Dubai in its development agenda. And satellite images taken by a U.S. firm shows a large Russian military convoy near Ukraine's capital, Kiev. Thanks for watching. My name is Patricia Roxanne Hammond. My costume was by Juliet Fashion at Kwabenya Point 1. And we also came to you live from our studios at Kwabenya Point 1. Good evening.